Hi, this is Miss Cairo. This is lesson 2-5, which is adding whole numbers and decimals. And for this lesson, you need a few different materials. You need your activity book, and we're going to be starting on page 47. You also need your place value chart and your whiteboard and an expo marker and a pencil. So go ahead and gather those materials. And again, we're starting on page 47, and this is lesson 2-5, adding whole numbers and decimals. And within this lesson, we're bringing together two concepts that you have previously learned and worked on. So adding with regrouping is something that you did quite a bit in previous grades. So we're going to be doing some of that. And also, an important skill to come into play with today's lesson is your knowledge and understanding of place value. And then we're going to bring those two together. So it will be a fun lesson, and it's not it's one of these lessons that's not learning something totally new. It's kind of reviewing and bringing skills together. So before we get started on page 47, I thought we'd do some quick warm-up problems to get your brain going and also to kind of preview to you what we're going to be doing in this lesson. Okay, so like I said, adding with regrouping is something you have learned in previous grades and is going to come into play quite a bit in today's lesson. So what I'd like you to do is on your whiteboard, I'm going to write out a problem, and I'd like you to write exactly how I'm writing out the problem, okay? So we're going to add 3,769. Do you see how my numbers are spaced out? I want yours to be spaced out like mine. And then again, you are going to be regrouping. So if you're writing at the very top of your whiteboard, erase it, give a little bit of space at the top. And then we're going to be adding 3,769 to 584. Okay, so go ahead and write that out nice and neat on your whiteboard. And again, did you notice how I spaced out my numbers of 5, 8, and 4 for 584? What else do you notice about the way I wrote this problem? Well, I stacked each of the digits with the other numbers, digits in which that they're both in the same place value, okay? So you'll see I stacked my 9 and my 4 directly on top of each other, same with my 6 and my 8, same with my 7 and my 5, okay? Okay, so let's go ahead and remember in previous years, when you're adding, you start from left to right and you work your way over, okay? So we're going to start over here in the ones place. 9 plus 4 is equal to 13. And remember, there can only be one digit that goes down here. And we'll talk more about that with decimals, about why we regroup. But for now, I'm just going to kind of go through this, and then we'll slow it down just in a little bit with another problem, okay? So 9 plus 4 is 13, so there can only be one digit down here. So 9 plus 4 is 13. 13, the 3 is in the one spot, and the 1 is in the tens. So we're going to put the 3 down here, and we're going to carry this 1 over. We're going to transfer 10 ones to create 10 ones to create 1 10, okay? And I'm going to put it directly above the 6. So now in the tens place, I have 1 plus 6 plus 7. Go ahead and try it. What is it? 15. Okay, so again, 2-digit number here. There can only be one digit at a time. So I'm going to put the 5 down here, bring the 1 above the 7, and now I'm working my 100 spot. Now I'm left with 1 plus 7 plus 5, which gives us 13. The 3 goes down below. We transfer over the 10 hundreds now over for 1,000. And now we have 1 plus 3, which is equal to 4. Okay. And again, so now my answer, my addition problem is 4,353. Don't forget your commas. Your commas always go in between the thousands and the tens place. Sorry, the thousands and the hundreds place. All right. And that was just a quick little warm up. Hopefully that looks familiar. Hopefully you felt pretty confident doing that with me. Let's try it with a decimal now. And let's talk about regrouping and what this means with a decimal number. So go ahead and erase. And the next problem we're going to do, let's do 44 and 25 hundredths. So again, I'm going to work a little bit. If this is the top of your whiteboard, leave a little bit of room. So 44, space out those digits, decimal. So 44 and 25 hundredths. Does yours look like mine? I left a little bit of space in between my digits. My decimal's nice and clear. All right, and then we're gonna add 8 and 96 hundredths. And look at the way I'm gonna do it. We're gonna work on this with our place value charts in a little bit, but I'm gonna put my 8 underneath the 4 that's in the one spot. I'm gonna have my decimals lined up, and then 96 hundredths, I'm gonna put my 9 in my 10th spot, and my 6 in my hundredths. And now I'm set up for success. We'll practice this in other problems, but the key to solving these problems, the way for you to set yourself up for success, is your place values need to be stacked. Your digits need to be stacked in the correct place values, and they need to be all lined up, super organized, in which you won't make any errors. Okay? So let's talk about why we're regrouping with this problem. Okay? So again, we're going to solve left to right, and I'm going to start here in my hundredths place value, and I'm going to be adding 5 hundredths plus 6 hundredths. 5 plus 6 is 11. And again, 11 hundredths, I'm left with 2 digits here, and I can only have 1 digit here. Think of this like money, okay? So if I'm working in the hundredths place value, again, what currency do we think of when we think of hundredths? Pennies. So let's pretend like we're adding 5 pennies plus 6 pennies gives us 11 pennies. We can regroup this, okay? We can take 10 of those pennies and exchange it for a dime. All right, so I want you to picture it like as if it's currency. I'm going to have now 11 cents. I'm going to keep 1 penny down here in my hundredths place. I'm going to bring over 10 pennies to the next place value, and I'm exchanging it for 1 dime. So I'm going to rewrite 1 above the 2 to represent 1 dime that I just exchanged for the 10 pennies that I got from adding 5 pennies plus 6 pennies. Everyone with me so far? So now I'm good for that. Now in the 10th place value, I have 1 plus 2 plus 9. Go ahead and add that mentally. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 2 is 12. So we get our answer of 12. In the 10th place value, what currency do we think of in the tenths, this place value? Dimes. So if I add these 3 values together and I get 12 dimes, again, I want to exchange as much as possible, especially when I have 2 digits. When I have 2 digits here, I need to be exchanging, or in other words, regrouping. So 12 dimes, I can keep the 2 dimes as dimes, but these 10 dimes, I can exchange 10 dimes to equal what currency? $1. So I'm going to keep my 2 dimes, and that's going to be in my 10th place. And I'm going to bring over my 10 dimes, exchange it for $1, and put my $1 in the ones place above the 4. Our next step before we start adding, I'm now at a decimal. All right. And both my numbers have decimals in them. So that means I'm going to have an answer or a sum with a decimal. So hundredths place, tenths place. I'm now going to be moving over to the 1. So I need to separate those place values with the decimal. So go ahead and put in your decimal right now. And now we're working with 1 plus 4 plus 8 ones. Remember, think of dollar bills is equal to what? 13. if I have 13 $1 bills, again, 2 digits here, I need to regroup. I'm going to keep my three ones, but these 10 $1 bills, I'm going to exchange for a $10 bill. So I'm going to put my three ones. I'm going to take my 10 $1 bills and exchange it for one $10 bill and put my one above my four in the tens place. And now I have 1 plus 4. I don't have a digit here, so which means I'm basically picturing in my head a 0. If it helps you to add in the 0 like I just did, you can do that with these problems, or you can just leave it blank. But remember, if you're coming across a blank place value, that represents 0. And then 1 plus 4 is equal to 5. Okay? And now we're left with this answer. How do you say this sum out loud? 53 and 21 hundredths. Great. Okay, so that was just a quick warm up. I'm hopefully you walking through that with me helped you visualize of why why we are regrouping. So why do we put these ones up here in this case, or why do we put digits above the place values? Anytime we're coming across sums with 2 digits, we need to regroup. All right, let's get into some of these problems. So go ahead and erase your whiteboard. Let's get into page 47. All right, page 47, the heading says addition problems. And then there's a puzzle penguin question. We are going to skip that, and we are going to come back to that in our live Zoom. So let's go down to the second half of the page. The instructions say add, try and solve mentally for problems 2 through 10. And let me zoom in a little so you guys can clearly see. This try to solve mentally, we're going to work on that a little more in our live Zoom. You can try it along with, as we're doing them in our place value charts. And then we'll practice this more and talking about how we can do it live. But for now, let's practice solving these problems using our place value chart. So I'd like you to just skip all the way over. Let's take a look at number 6. Okay. Number 6 is 57 and 3/10 plus 89 hundredths. They wrote these horizontally because many of these problems you can add mentally. But let's solve through it using our place value chart. Okay. So let's insert 57 and 3/10. I already see my decimal here. I see that 3 is my tens place, and I see that 5 is in my tens and 7 is in my ones. So 57 and 3/10, that looks good. And then 89 hundredths. So 0 is in my ones place, 8 is in my tens, tenths, and 9 is in my hundredths. You see how I got that? I looked in the decimals and then added my digits in. And now I'm ready for success to add these. Does your place value look like mine? All right, again, we're going to start from the left to the right and work our way up. I come across with basically, there's no digit here in 9. What is going on with this one? So if there's no digits here, that represents that there's 0 in value. So in this place that there's 0 hundredths. So if it helps you, again, go ahead and add that 0 in. That helps me out. And now I basically have 0 plus 9 is equal to 9 hundredths. And then I'm going to keep working my way up. 3 plus 8 gives us 11. And we're working in the tenths place value. So 11, I can't put 2 digits down here. So I'm going to put my 1, okay? Or in this case, 11 dimes. So that's our answer for 3 plus 8. My 1 dime I'm going to put down here, and I'm going to exchange or regroup 10 dimes for a $1 bill, or 1. Okay, so I'm going to put my 1 above the 7. Does yours look like mine? So 3 plus 8 we said is 11, 1 and 1. And let's keep working our way. 1 plus 7 plus 0 is equal to 8. And then 5 plus, there's no digit here. That means there's a 0 in value. So again, if that helps you out putting the 0 in to make sure that you are clear in which that there's no digit here, 5 plus 0 is equal to 5. And we are left with this answer. Go ahead and practice saying that sum out loud. 58 and 1900ths, and then add that into problem number 6. Do not forget your decimal. Our place value chart is super handy because it already has our decimal in there. That is a decimal between the ones and the tenths place as always. And so 58 and 1900ths. Great, go ahead and erase your place value chart. Let's keep going. Let's do like a few more. Let's keep going. Let's do number 7. 92 and 1700ths plus 1 and 6/10. Let's transfer these numbers into your place value chart. Go ahead and try it. How do you transfer these two numbers into your place value chart? Does yours look like mine? Remember, these black dots are decimals. They're already laid out for us. Great, let's go ahead and add, starting left to right. We have 7 plus 0 is equal to 700ths. 1 plus 6/10 is equal to 7/10. 2 plus 1 ones is equal to 3 ones. And then 9 plus 0 is equal to 9. And remember, they already have the decimal there for us. So how do we say this number out loud? 93 and 7700ths. Go ahead and transfer that into your book. Don't forget your decimal. All right, number 6 and 7 are done. You'll continue the rest later. Let's go ahead and flip the page and let's take a look at page 48. Page 48, we have quite a bit of practice problems and then 3 word problems. So let's zoom in and let's take a look again. Page 48, numbers 12 through 23 says add the pairs of numbers. Let's practice transferring these numbers into our place value chart and adding, and then let's try maybe 1 or 2 without our place value. Okay, so let's just start off with number 12. Please take the problem for number 12 and add it into your place value chart. It's 4 and 7800ths. Add that in. Plus 5 and 2300ths. Go ahead and try it. Does yours look like mine? Great, let's go ahead and add in that addition sign. Write out that bar, and then let's work left to right. And this problem has a regrouping already. And my hundredths place value, 8 plus 3 is equal to 11. We need to regroup. We're gonna put, if I'm looking at this like money, 11 pennies, I'm gonna keep my 1 penny and exchange or regroup 10 pennies for 1 dime. So I'm gonna put my 1 down here, regroup another 10 hundredths is gonna become 1/10. And now I have in my tenths place value, 1 plus 7 plus 2 is equal to 10. So 10 tenths, that's 2 digits. We need to regroup. Again, picture it like money. I have 10 dimes. I can exchange that for 1 whole or 1 1. Okay, so my 0 here is going to represent that I'm exchanging 10 dimes for $1. So I'm left with 0 dimes and then $1 bill up over here. And then for our ones place, 1 plus 4 plus 10. Sorry, just give you the answer. 1 plus 4 plus 5 is equal to 10. And here's what we do when we come across our last place value at the end of our problem, and which I do still need to regroup. So I'm going to put, we said 1 plus 4 plus 5 is 10. I'm going to put my 0 down here. And it's as if I need to regroup. I have no digits to put my 1 above it. So my 1 is going to go directly down in here into my problem. So again, think of it like money. if I have in my ones place value, so dollar bills, 1 plus 4 plus 5 single dollar bills is equal to 10 $1 bills, or it depends on the way that you look at it, one $10 bill. Okay. And that is our sum for number 12. How do you say this answer out loud? 10 and 1/100th. Go ahead and add that into your book. Let's try number 13 without using our place value, our place value chart. So on your whiteboard, I don't like to do it directly into the book. Your book writes the numbers really small and with not enough room in between it. Okay, so to keep ourselves organized, let's solve all these problems on our whiteboards. What I'd like you to do is write out on your whiteboard 37 and 56/100ths plus 2 and 78/100ths. And I want you to practice spacing out your digits and having all your digits lined up in the correct place value. Do you see how my two decimals are lined up right on stacked on top of each other? Same with my digits that are my hundreds place, my tenths, and my ones. Does yours look like mine? And then over here underneath 3, you should have a blank spot. That's again going to represent 0. And we are ready to solve. Over here, my hundreds place, we're going to go left to right. 6 plus 8 is equal to 14. I'm going to put my 4 in my hundreds place. I'm going to take my 10/100ths and exchange them for 1/10. So I'm going to put a 1 above my 5 in the 10th spot. And now I have 1 plus 5 plus 7/10 is equal to 13/10. I'm going to put my 3 down here for 3/10. And my 10/10, I'm going to regroup and I'm going to turn it into 1 whole. Before I keep going, I'm coming across 2 decimals. I'm going to put a decimal in my sum right now so I don't forget it and that I know all my place values are lined up correctly. And now I'm going to keep working my way over. 1 plus 7 plus 2 ones is equal to 10 ones. I'm going to exchange or regroup for this one. My 0 is going to go in my 1 spot, and my 10 ones are going to become 1/10. And I'm left with 1 plus 3 plus, well, there's nothing there, that's 0, is equal to 4/10. And we get our sum now. Go ahead and practice saying that out loud. 40 and 34/100ths. Go ahead and add that into your book. And our very last one that I want to practice, let's just do one more. Go ahead and erase. Let's do one of these ones that are written horizontally. And we're going to rewrite it vertically. Number 16. Let's try that one. 9 and 53/100ths plus 7/10. Go ahead and add it into your place value chart. Does yours look like mine? Yep, I have my decimals here in between my ones and my tenths place values. And now I'm ready to solve. So going left to right, I have 3/100ths plus 0/100ths is equal to 3/100ths. In my tenth spot, 5/10 plus 7/10 is equal to 12/10. I'm going to keep 2/10 here and regroup. 10/10 is equal to 1 whole. And now I'm left with 1 plus 9 plus 0 is equal to 10 ones. So my 0 is going to go in my 1 spot. And I don't have my 1 to transfer over. I could put it there. So then just 1 plus 0 is equal to 1. And here is our sum. How do you say that out loud? 10 and 23/100ths. Don't forget your decimal. Nice and clear. Thanks so much for following along closely with me. And we are going to continue practicing in a live Zoom.